Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Rich Latta. Slightly different video, audio only today. Wanted to make a video about this controversial topic amongst my listenership and viewership here. But me, I love the game, and I'm gonna talk about the things that I think can help the Indiana Fever. I'm a big Fever fan, and big Caitlin Clark fan, and man, there are a lot of parallels to the next situation I'm about to describe. So in, let's see, 2008, I recall, 2009 also, the Los Angeles Lakers had a huge rivalry, I would say, with the Houston Rockets. Met them in the playoffs in 2009, went to a tough 7-game series. In that series, it was Ron Artest, then as he was known as, pretty much leading the Rockets as their emotional leader and kind of their best player, with Aaron Brooks giving Derek Fisher all the fits, Carl Landry dunking on Lamar Odom. Just a horrible series in hindsight for me to remember. The Lakers did get, the win because, I'm a Lakers fan. But through that, there was a lot of physicality in that series with Ron Artest and Kobe Bryant, and this extended to the regular season as well. What I did not know is they were, pretty cool off the court. Ron Artest, came up to Kobe after the devastating 2008 NBA Finals loss to Boston, and basically said, he wanted to be a Laker, but, it just wasn't time yet, essentially. But there was a lot of physical play between those guys. There was big elbows, lots of trash talking, and that would not have gone well for my favorite player of all time, Kobe Bryant, if he had to fight Ron Artest at that time. And Artest used to body him up, be physical with him, and pretty much let him know, like, yo, I will fold you up. Eventually, he ended up joining the Lakers and, won a championship in 2010. And it was just one example of, having an issue with a player. And then, that player then joined the roster. That later happened with Matt Barnes. Didn't amount to championship success, but still it was a good story of, rivals coming together. I say all that to bring up Chennedy Carter. And Chennedy Carter is not the most popular player among Indiana Fever fans. The Ben Daniel podcast brought this up, and he's been a outward advocate of Chennedy Carter joining the Indiana Fever, and I agree. I'm about the basketball first. I'm about the winning, and man, when I just think about the things that she could do for this roster, and in a 6-woman position, in a spot starter, if a Kelsey Mitchell is not feeling great, or even if Caitlin, Lord forbid something happened to her, she can definitely step in and fill it up. She's been excellent in China. I've been following her offseason progress. She had a crazy triple-double the other day with like 17 rebounds. She's a very small guard, electric with the ball handling. And yes, she put Caitlin Clark on her behind last year, and I didn't like it. A lot of you didn't like it. We knew what it was. We called it what it was. But after that, there was another time she saved her from falling. I think that should be noted as well. And I think that one incident shouldn't be necessarily held against a player, from possibly helping, your team win in the future. And even if she doesn't, end up signing with the Fever or anything, this is nothing I've heard as far as, this actually about to happen. But man, I sure would advocate for it. And I think that what Chennedy Carter could bring to the table much outweighs, a tough moment between two players that were, pretty competitive at the time. Caitlin, talking that noise to her, and then, Kennedy's, she's not no one to play with, it looks like. I think it is, it would be a great story, especially if they were able to turn into kind of a winning combination. She's, a human highlight reel on her own. She's not the best 3-point shooter, for everything I gather about her game, but man, I would watch her stuff, and it's unfortunate how it ended up playing out in Chicago for her. She's going to be able to pretty much take, a free agency deal. She's unrestricted February 1st with any team in the league. So anybody can get her. And before another team, loads up and adds her and, helps their championship hopes, someone like maybe the Aces, someone like, maybe, let her get to the Lynx and then Cheryl Reeves gets her in line. You never know where she could swing, the championship. And, if you're looking for an organization that could handle a Candy Carter, who better than the Indiana Fever? You bring her in, you let her know, all right, it's a hierarchy here. This is Caitlin Clark's team. You don't have to worry about competing, with Angel Reese and actually being a better player than her. You don't have to worry about, the awkwardness of all her fans with, saying that she's the best player. However that situation played out. Therese Weatherspoon seemed to have a good grip on Kennedy Carter until the end of the season. Just say, hey, all you got to do is come in and ball. Coach Stephanie White seems to be a strong coach, not going to really go for, any of the misbehavior or anything like that. She lets her know it's all about the game. I think Kennedy would be willing to fall in line at this point because, you can see she averaged 17 points a game last year, and you would think the Sky would bring her back, and they didn't. So something went wrong there. So clearly Kennedy knows that teams are kind of passing her around at this point. If she's not someone like the Valkyrie could target, I would look for them to reach out to her as well. But man, like I know people are not going to agree with me on this. I welcome the discussion in the comments. I can think of a couple people that are probably going to vehemently disagree with me. But consider this: you don't want the odds to swing away from you, and you're trying to build this championship team as quick as possible in Indiana. And I think Kennedy Carter would be a worthy addition, especially, to come off the bench as like a sixth woman. I think she's electric. I think the fans in Indianapolis would embrace her, and it could really turn out to be a positive story at the end of the day. And, when the great book of history, as I like to say, in the sport is written, it ends on a happy note. And I think I think Caitlin would be for it. Like, she's clearly a competitor, and she kind of, understands the way the game's going. And they had that one incident. They didn't really have any more, the rest of the season. So it doesn't seem like it's like a Connecticut Sun type of rivalry where it seems like there's something deeper there. This kind of seems like it was isolated. And, I think both players want to, continue competing against each other in a normal fashion should they, not be on the same team. But what do you think? Have I convinced you that Kennedy Carter would be somebody that the Indiana Fever should take a flyer on? My name's Rich. This is One Lifetime. I'll at y'all. Peace.